Following the sudden and catastrophic implosion of their previous girl group April, DSP has finally decided to debut a new girl group, and the concept they chose for them was interesting. Now, I must start by applauding whoever is their creative director, because conceptually, Young Posse's debut was one of the most interesting debuts of 2023. Now, when I say interesting, I don't necessarily mean good. I mean that their approach to this new group definitely had some serious imagination behind it. And even though I wasn't a huge fan of the song, I can't lie and say that it wasn't unique. In fact, it was definitely a bold decision. One thing that I found most interesting was how campy and quintessentially K-pop it truly was. There was once a time in K-pop when no one was afraid of doing anything conceptually. We used to have groups doing some of the most random shit at any given time, and all of it felt like it was something that would only work for K-pop. I can't imagine a single Western artist today who could even attempt what Orange Caramel brought to the table with the sheer weirdness that was Cantalina. For better or worse, the music was definitely never boring. Now, am I saying that K-pop has gotten boring? Well, no. What I am saying is that it's definitely gotten far safer than it used to be. On one hand, I totally understand why that is and why it would most likely continue to go in that direction. Many K-pop companies today are aiming for globalization. They want their artists to appeal to as many people as possible in as many countries as possible. And sometimes that means that they have to make some sacrifices in creativity in favor of something far more watered down. In other words, it will likely be a long while before we ever get another Banana Allergy Monkey or Super Yuppers in K-pop. But Young Posse's Macaroni Cheese is likely the closest we'll get until then. The pure campiness of this song and its refusal to take itself seriously is honestly one of the greatest highlights. The song itself wasn't much for me sonically, mainly because it just made me feel like I was literally watching a commercial for an actual Kraft macaroni and cheese product. If I hadn't known that this song was a real release from an actual music group, and I just stumbled across it randomly one day, I'd assume that Kraft had created this meme anthem as part of their newest ad campaign. Now, was DSP's intention to virtually turn their own group into a meme? I don't know, but would it have been smart if this was intentional? That's a question we likely won't have an answer to until we've seen a few more releases from them and gotten to analyze the results. Because as of now, I can't tell if this is a one-off thing that they're doing with this group, or if they're seriously planning to make this Young Posse's permanent concept from here on. If they choose to keep going in this direction, then they'll likely be fighting an uphill battle trying to establish a fan base with a concept this niche. But let's discuss what could come next if they do intend to stick with this concept. Now, even though I don't love the song, I have to admit that it was definitely very catchy. It did get stuck in my head immediately after hearing it for the first time. But what they risk by making songs like this is the chance that the group behind it may not be taken seriously by the masses, thus accidentally turning your group into a joke. Now, there is a potential positive here as well. If they stick with this and one of their future releases, or even this song, someday goes crazy viral, then they could ride this out and hope for the best. As of now, since I am unfamiliar with the members themselves, I'm very curious to see what this group releases next. And if this is all a part of DSP's master plan, or just another example of a company throwing something at the wall to see if it sticks. I genuinely hope that they stick with this concept, and if they do, I hope it garners them some success, because K-pop could use a little more weirdness. And it's okay if they were to return to the time when it didn't take itself so seriously.